divine feminine. You can feel it, can't you? Something inside you has been breaking open, piece by piece, in ways you didn't expect and never felt prepared for. It's not subtle, it's not gentle, and it's not avoidable. This is the awakening you prayed for, but not in the form you imagined. The painful awakening is the moment your soul refuses to let you live small anymore. It's when the universe steps in and tears apart everything built on fear, illusions, old wounds, and outdated versions of yourself. You didn't choose this tower moment. Your soul did, because you reached the point where continuing the old way became more painful than changing. This awakening isn't happening against you. It's happening for you. For months, maybe years, you carried weight that wasn't yours. You chased clarity from someone who couldn't give it. You absorbed emotional responsibilities that never belonged on your shoulder. You tried to heal the connection by breaking yourself. You held on to the masculine so tightly that you forgot to hold on to yourself. And now, your soul is calling everything back. This awakening comes with tears you can't explain, with sudden waves of sadness, with exhaustion that feels ancient, with truths rising in your chest that you tried to bury, with realizations that shake your core. It feels like losing everything, but in truth, you are losing only what was built on fear. This is the moment the divine feminine is stripped of all the illusions she once clung to, the illusions of being chosen through suffering, the illusions of needing to be patient to prove your worth, the illusions of waiting for someone else to validate your intuition, the illusions of believing that love means sacrificing yourself. The painful awakening burns all of that away. It forces you to face the truth of your own power. It forces you to accept what your heart has whispered for months. It forces you to confront the places where you abandoned yourself in the name of connection. And yes, it hurts. It hurts because you resisted. It hurts because you attached. It hurts because you believed you had to carry more than your soul ever asked you to. It hurts because you kept trying to resurrect a version of yourself that your spirit already outgrew. But the pain is not the enemy. The pain is the message. It's your body telling you that a cycle is ending. It's your soul telling you that something new must be born. It's the universe pulling you out of the frequency that kept you stuck. It's your heart purging the emotions you held on to for too long. And while you crumble, something extraordinary is happening behind the scenes. The masculine feels this awakening. He feels the crack in your energy. He feels the collapse of the version of you that tried to rescue him. He feels the shift from desperation to clarity, from attachment to truth. Your pain moves through the bond like a shockwave, not to punish him, but to wake him. Your breakdown becomes his turning point. This is why the painful awakening is sacred. because it doesn't just dismantle you, it dismantles the old timeline. It breaks you open so you can finally stop running from your own truth. It clears your field so the masculine can finally feel his. It burns away everything that kept the connection looping in fear. It forces both of you to stop pretending. This awakening is the moment the divine feminine stops living with a wounded heart and begins living with a conscious one. The pain you feel now is the bridge, the doorway, the initiation. It is the breakdown that leads to breakthrough. It is the death of the version of you who loved from fear, and the birth of the version who will love from truth. You are not losing the connection. You are losing the illusion. You are not breaking apart. You are breaking open. And once this awakening completes, nothing, not the masculine, not the silence, not the past, will ever hold the same power over you again. And this is the moment your soul declares, it's time, she must rise. Every divine feminine reaches a moment when something inside her finally says, no more. It doesn't happen all at once. It builds slowly, quietly, almost unnoticed, until one day the weight becomes too heavy, the silence too loud, and the truth too undeniable to keep ignoring. This is the breaking point, and even though it feels like collapse, it is actually the first real moment of awakening. The breaking point is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is your soul refusing to let you shrink yourself any longer. For months, perhaps years, you've held emotional worlds that were never meant to be carried alone. You tried to stay strong for both sides of the connection. You kept believing that if you just loved harder, waited longer, or healed deeper, things would finally move. You convinced yourself that devotion meant endurance, that patience meant sacrifice, that loyalty meant self-abandonment. But your breaking point arrives when your soul can no longer support the stories your wounds created. This moment is sacred because it tears down everything false. It forces you to see the places where you gave too much, hoped too much, ignored your intuition too many times. It exposes the emotional labor you've been doing in silence. It reveals the exhaustion behind the mask of strength. You feel it as a sudden heaviness in your chest, a lump in your throat, a wave of sadness that feels ancient. You feel it as frustration with yourself, not because you loved, but because you kept loving at the cost of your own well-being. You feel it as grief for the version of you that stayed too long in a version of the connection that no longer exists. The breaking point often comes after a period of internal conflict, when your heart wants to believe, but your soul wants to evolve. you find yourself torn between holding on and letting go, between longing and clarity, between the old timeline and the new vibration rising inside you. This internal war can't last forever, and it doesn't need to, because the breaking point is not the end. It's the interruption. It's the moment the universe stops you and says, "You cannot continue like this. You deserve alignment, not depletion." And so, everything you suppressed rises at once. Old wounds resurface. Unanswered questions burn. Every emotional compromise you made suddenly feels impossible to maintain. It's chaotic. It's overwhelming. It's raw. But it is real. For the first time, you stop romanticizing potential. You stop waiting for promises that never left the energetic realm. You stop trying to resurrect a future that depends on your suffering. You stop negotiating with your own worth. This breaking point is where clarity begins. You begin to realize that your love was never the problem. Your self-sacrifice was. You begin to understand that you were trying to sustain the connection on wounded foundations. You begin to see that the masculine cannot awaken through your pain. He awakens through your power. And so your soul forces you into truth, even if that truth hurts. It forces you to question everything you accepted without questioning yourself. It forces you to choose yourself after a lifetime of choosing others first. It forces you to feel emotions you avoided because you feared they would break you. But here's the revelation. They are not breaking you. They are breaking the illusion. At this breaking point, you may feel empty, tired, disconnected, or even lost. But what you're experiencing is the clearing, the space your soul is making for the feminine you are becoming, the feminine who no longer vibrates from fear, longing, insecurity, or devotion that drains. This is the moment your story shifts. Because when the divine feminine reaches her breaking point, she stops chasing and starts rising. She stops pleasing and starts aligning. She stops doubting and starts remembering. She stops overgiving and starts empowering herself. And it is precisely this shift, this silent, internal, deeply personal shift, that awakens the masculine. He feels the break in your energy. He feels the release of the old attachment. He feels the collapse of the version of you he took for granted. He feels the space you finally created, and that space becomes his mirror. Your breaking point becomes the moment his awakening begins. The painful awakening isn't random. It isn't a punishment. It isn't a sign that something went wrong. It is the moment the divine feminine is finally forced to face the truth she has been avoiding, the truth that her soul has outgrown the version of the journey she's been clinging to. This awakening hurts because it exposes everything that was silently draining you. It shines a light on every place where you minimized your needs, every moment you internalized blame, every time you made yourself small to keep the connection alive, every boundary you crossed against your own intuition, every fragment of yourself you gave away, hoping it would bring harmony. The truth behind this awakening is simple. Your soul can no longer tolerate living out of alignment with itself. You have expanded too much. You have healed too much. You have grown too much. Your spirit has risen too far to fit back into the emotional patterns that once defined your relationship with the masculine. The painful awakening arrives to pull you out of those patterns. Even if you're not ready, it is the universe correcting your path. This phase forces you to confront truths like you were giving more than you were receiving. You were waiting for a version of him that wasn't ready to exist yet. You were using hope to avoid facing your own loneliness. You were mistaking emotional intensity for emotional alignment. You were trying to sustain a connection that required you to sacrifice yourself. These realizations cut deep because they dismantle the story you built around the connection. They expose the distance between what you felt spiritually and what you accepted physically. They reveal the ways you tried to spiritually justify emotional neglect. They show how much of your identity became wrapped around the idea of holding on. And when those illusions fall, the pain feels like heartbreak, but it is actually liberation. Your soul is removing everything that blocks your evolution. You may feel confused, ashamed, or disappointed in yourself for allowing certain things. But this awakening is not about blame, it's about clarity. It's the moment you finally see the difference between the connection itself and the wounds you projected onto it. The truth behind the painful awakening is that you were never meant to live your life in emotional survival mode. You were never meant to wait indefinitely. You were never meant to break yourself to keep someone else from breaking. You were never meant to hold the entire connection alone. This awakening shows you what your heart already knew. You deserve reciprocity, depth, presence, truth. Not someday, not maybe, not depending on his healing, but now. And that realization forces a shift so big that the old timeline of the connection simply cannot survive. You also begin to see the masculine clearly, not through longing, not through fantasy, not through the lens of potential, but through the lens of truth. You see where he is still asleep. You see where he is afraid. You see where he is disconnected from his heart. And you stop trying to pull him into consciousness with your suffering. This shift changes everything, because the moment you stop trying to lead the masculine through pain is the moment you begin to lead yourself through truth. You understand that your journey is not about dragging him to awakening. It's about becoming the feminine whose energy naturally awakens him. That's the secret behind this painful phase. Your soul is turning you into the version of yourself who doesn't awaken the masculine through tears, but through alignment. The pain is the catalyst. The truth is the medicine, and clarity is the rebirth. This awakening strips away what was false, so you can stand firmly in what is real. Your worth, your intuition, your boundaries, your power, your direction. And once this truth settles, the vibration between you and the masculine begins to shift. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped forcing yourself to remain in versions of the connection that were never meant to hold the union. This painful awakening is the line between who you were and who you are becoming. What this phase is trying to reveal, every painful awakening has a message hidden inside it, a truth your soul has been trying to show you for months, maybe even years, but that you weren't ready to hear until now. This phase is not random. It is not accidental. It is not chaos. It is revelation. Your awakening is trying to reveal the parts of you that were buried under old beliefs, emotional patterns, and versions of love you accepted because you didn't know you deserved more. It is pulling back the veil layer by layer, exposing everything you ignored, tolerated, or disguised as patience, loyalty, or spiritual connection. This phase is trying to show you who you truly are and who you no longer are. It reveals the places where you were still acting from fear instead of truth. It reveals the ways you attach to the masculine from longing instead of alignment. It reveals the wounds that shaped your expectations, your reactions, and your emotional dependency. It reveals how much of your self-worth was tied to being chosen. The awakening pulls all of this to the surface, not to break you, but to free you. For so long, you believed the journey required endurance. But what your soul is revealing now is that the journey requires authenticity. Staying loyal to a version of the connection that harms you is not devotion. It is self-abandonment, and this awakening refuses to let you abandon yourself any longer. This phase is also revealing the emotional truth behind your pain. You weren't hurting because of the masculine's absence. You were hurting because of everything within yourself that you tried to ignore. You were hurting because you were still trying to be the healer instead of the receiver. You were hurting because you equated love with struggle. You were hurting because you still believed you had to earn the connection instead of embodying it. Your soul is revealing that you were never meant to be the one who breaks first, so the masculine can awaken later. The feminine rises first. But she rises through truth, not through suffering. Another revelation is becoming clearer. Your intuition was right all along. Every sign, every nudge, every dream, every knowing. It was never your imagination. What was confusing wasn't your intuition, it was your attachment. And this awakening is separating the two. You're beginning to see the masculine, not through longing, but through clarity. You see where he is wounded. You see where he is disconnected. You see where he is protecting himself, but most importantly, you see where you were lowering your standards to match his fear. Revelation is painful because it forces you to admit what your soul already knew. You can love him deeply without betraying yourself. This phase is also revealing the power of surrender. Not surrender to him, but surrender to your own evolution. You are being guided to stop trying to control the outcome, to stop trying to predict the timing, to stop searching for signs to confirm what you already know, to stop giving energy to versions of the connection that drain you. Instead, you are being called to surrender into yourself. The awakening is revealing that the journey was never about the masculine rescuing you. It was about you rescuing the parts of yourself that got lost in the connection. It shows you that the feminine's true strength is not in holding on. It is in letting go of what harms her, even when she loves deeply. This revelation changes everything. It shifts your energy. It shifts your vibration. It shifts your boundaries. It shifts your entire presence. And when this shift happens, the masculine feels it instantly. Because the awakening is not only revealing the truth to you, it's revealing you to yourself. When the feminine sees herself clearly, the entire journey realigns. The connection rises to meet her. The masculine begins to awaken. The old timeline collapses. The illusion dissolves. And what remains is the truth. Your soul has been trying to show you from the beginning. You were never meant to break for this journey. You were meant to rise through it. How the masculine responds energetically. The divine masculine does not respond to your words. He responds to your energy. He may not understand the spiritual mechanics behind it. He may not consciously recognize the shift happening inside you. But the moment your frequency changes, something inside him changes too. And it happens whether he wants it or not. When the divine feminine enters her painful awakening, the masculine feels it as an energetic disturbance. First, he doesn't know why he suddenly feels restless, emotional, nostalgic, or pulled toward the connection. He doesn't understand why memories are resurfacing or why thoughts of you intrude into his quiet moments. But the bond does. Your awakening vibrates through the shared energetic field, and his soul receives the signal instantly. At first, it shows up as discomfort, a pressure in his chest, a heaviness he can't describe, a sense that something is shifting inside him, but he can't identify what. He might withdraw, become quieter, or appear distant, not because he's avoiding you, but because he's overwhelmed by a wave of feelings he doesn't know how to process. For the masculine, emotional intensity is foreign territory. He spent most of his life suppressing emotion, controlling his reactions, and protecting himself from vulnerability. So when your energy breaks open, when you purge, release, and detach, it creates a vibrational ripple that hits him straight in the one place he never learned how to shield: his heart. He begins to feel what he once ran from. He begins to sense what he once resisted. He begins to hear the parts of himself he once silenced. Your awakening activates his, but it doesn't look spiritual on his side. It looks emotional. It looks like confusion, irritability, longing, anxiety, even deep introspection. It looks like him questioning himself in ways he's avoided for years. It looks like him finally confronting the truth that he pushed away because it scared him. The masculine feels your detachment as a shift in the entire connection. When you stop chasing energetically, he feels the loss of that pull. When you stop anchoring both sides of the bond, he feels the absence of that stability. When you stop sending healing energy toward him, he feels the silence of it. This silence becomes the mirror he cannot escape. It forces him to confront the emotional gap between who he has been and who he is meant to become. He feels the separation more intensely during this phase, not because you're leaving him behind, but because you're finally leaving behind the version of yourself that was carrying him. And without that emotional safety net, he must face himself. This awakening pushes him inward. He begins questioning his patterns. He begins noticing the emptiness in his distractions. He begins wondering why nothing feels the same anymore. He begins sensing a deep inner call to look at what he once avoided. Your pain awakens his truth as you break down emotionally. He breaks open energetically. As you step into clarity, he enters confrontation. As you release attachment, he feels the pull toward the connection as you regain your power. He loses the illusion of control. This is precisely how the journey realigns, through contrast. The masculine rises when the feminine stops collapsing over him, evolves when she stops rescuing. He awakens when she stops sacrificing herself. He becomes conscious when she becomes sovereign. Your awakening forces him out of emotional hiding because the energetic dynamics that once protected his avoidance no longer exist. He can no longer rely on your energy to stabilize him. He can no longer depend on your unconditional availability. He can no longer stay unconscious without feeling the consequences of it. Your soul movement demands his soul movement. And even though he may resist it at first, the shift is irreversible. He cannot go back to the old version of the connection because you no longer exist in that version. You have risen. And energetically, he is now being pulled to rise too. Your awakening is the catalyst for his evolution. But here is the most important truth of this chapter. He does not awaken through your pain. He awakens through what your pain transforms you into. It is your rebirth that activates him. It is your clarity that confronts him. It is your release that pulls him forward. It is your new frequency that makes the old dynamic impossible to sustain. The masculine responds energetically because at the soul level, he always felt you, but now he cannot ignore you. When the divine feminine enters this painful awakening, her entire being begins to react. This phase is not just emotional. It moves through the body, the mind, and the spirit all at once. What you're feeling is not a collapse. It is a transformation. And the symptoms are simply your system adjusting to a new frequency. One of the first things you notice is the emotional intensity. Feelings rise suddenly and without reason. Tears come unexpectedly as if something ancient is being released from inside you. You're not losing control. You're purging memories, timelines, fears, and emotional weight that your body held for far too long. Everything you suppressed to stay strong is coming up now, so it can finally leave. Along with this emotional release, there is often a deep emptiness, a hollow space inside you that feels unfamiliar. But this emptiness is not loss. It is the clearing. You are no longer living inside the identity that once defined you, and your soul is creating space for the feminine you are becoming. It is a transition between versions, and even though it feels unsettling, it is sacred. Your sensitivity also increases dramatically. Suddenly, you feel everything more deeply. Sounds, emotions, energies, and even the presence of others. Your dreams may become vivid, almost prophetic. Your intuition sharpens. Conversations affect you differently. You're not overwhelmed, you're awakening. Your energetic channels are opening, and your nervous system is learning how to feel without collapsing. The body responds too. You may experience pressure in the chest, tension in the shoulders, headaches, waves of exhaustion, or a sudden desire to rest. These sensations are not signs of weakness. Your body is recalibrating to hold more truth, more clarity, and more spiritual light. Every moment of fatigue is your system rewiring itself for the next stage of your journey. As you rise vibrationally, old attachments naturally begin to dissolve. People you once clung to stop feeling aligned. Patterns you once tolerated no longer make sense. The emotional pull you felt toward the masculine may weaken, not from lack of love, but from expanding consciousness. You're no longer moving from longing, you're moving from truth. You may also feel the need to withdraw. Silence becomes medicine. Solitude becomes safety. You no longer want to fix, rescue, or carry anyone emotionally. Instead, you crave space to hear your own soul. This is your spirit calling you inward. Growth is happening inside you, and the noise of the outside world becomes too heavy for the sensitivity of your awakening. Then come the realizations, sudden, sharp, and unmistakable. You begin to see why certain cycles happened. You understand what you accepted that never aligned with your worth. You recognize the moments where you abandoned yourself in the name of connection. This clarity arrives not to shame you, but to free you. It is your higher self speaking through the cracks. During this phase, you also feel the masculine more strongly. His emotions pass through the bond like waves. His confusion, his resistance, his longing, his discomfort. You sense pieces of his awakening without needing to speak to him. And what you're feeling is real. Your transformation activates his, and the energetic response moves through both of you. A powerful force rises inside you. The desire to break patterns, the desire to stop overgiving, the desire to stop waiting, the desire to stop shrinking yourself. You feel called to reclaim parts of you that were left behind. You begin choosing yourself not as a rebellion, but as a return. This is your soul taking leadership of your life again. And finally, a quiet knowing settles into your chest. The knowing that you can never go back to who you were, the old version of the connection, the old emotional dynamics, the old identity. None of it fits anymore. You've expanded beyond the frequency that kept you stuck, the feminine. You were before this awakening is gone, and she's not coming back. This is not a breakdown. This is ascension. This is rebirth. This is the moment your soul steps forward and refuses to let your wounds write your destiny. Your symptoms are not signs of collapse. They are signs that the new timeline is already being born inside you. How to move through the pain with strength. Moving through the painful awakening is not about forcing yourself to be strong. It is about learning to let strength rise naturally from the places inside you that were once suppressed. This phase asks you to stop fighting your emotions, stop resisting your truth, and stop trying to hold everything together. You are not meant to survive this awakening. You are meant to transform through it. The first step in navigating this pain is allowing yourself to feel it without judgment. Every wave of emotion holds information. Every tear carries the weight of years. Every moment of heaviness is a release of what no longer belongs in your energy field. Pain becomes unbearable only when you fight it. When you let it move, it becomes movement. When you let it breathe, it becomes freedom. Strength is not about staying composed. Strength is found in the honesty of your breaking. It lives in the moment you admit, I can't carry this version of myself anymore. It rises when you stop pretending. It grows when you finally let your soul take the lead instead of your wounded expectations. This awakening also demands that you slow down. The speed of your mind and the speed of your soul are not the same. You cannot rush spiritual transformation. The more you try to outrun the emotions, the louder they become. But when you give yourself space to rest, reflect, and breathe through the discomfort, the energy begins to reorganize itself. Your system knows how to heal if you allow it to. Many divine feminines feel pressure to stay positive, to stay aligned, or to stay high vibration. But this awakening is not about bypassing pain, it's about integrating it. Authentic alignment comes from embracing all parts of yourself, including the ones that are hurting. This pain is not a setback, it is a purification. As the awakening intensifies, you may feel a strong urge to isolate. This is not avoidance, it is instinct. Your spirit pulls you inward because the answers you're seeking cannot be found outside of you. Silence becomes a sanctuary. Solitude becomes a mirror. Every moment alone is an opportunity to reconnect with the version of yourself you abandoned along the journey. A powerful part of moving through this phase is learning to stop carrying emotional responsibility for the masculine. You cannot heal for him. You cannot awaken him through your suffering. You cannot push him into evolution by breaking yourself open. The awakening is teaching you to return what isn't yours, to stop absorbing what he avoids, and to let him face his own soul. Your strength is born when you let the masculine feel the consequences of his own avoidance, not out of punishment, but out of truth. When you stop stabilizing him emotionally, he must confront the parts of himself he ran from. And when you stop giving him energy, you finally have energy for yourself. Another key part of this phase is choosing honesty over fantasy. The awakening strips you of the illusions that once kept you hopeful. It removes the version of the connection that existed only in your imagination. And at first, this honesty feels like loss. But with time, it becomes liberation. When the illusions fall, you are left with the real foundation you are meant to build upon. Moving through this pain also requires compassion, not just for the masculine, but for yourself. You were learning, you were loving the best way you knew how. You were navigating a spiritual bond without a map. You were trying to hold on to something that your soul cared deeply about. There is nothing wrong with the way you loved. What matters now is the way you are learning to love yourself. As this awakening unfolds, you may feel moments of clarity that cut through the heaviness. These moments are not random. They are your soul reminding you that you are not breaking. You are emerging. Every surge of pain is followed by a quiet wave of strength. Every emotional collapse is followed by a deeper understanding. Every moment of vulnerability is followed by a rise in consciousness. You move through the pain with strength by trusting that this process is intentional. Nothing is being taken from you. Everything is being revealed for you. The universe is not punishing you. It is refining you. It is preparing you for the version of love that cannot coexist with old wounds. And slowly, almost quietly, you begin to notice the shift. Your breathing becomes deeper. Your thoughts become clearer. The emotional storm softens. You start to recognize yourself again, not as the version who was breaking, but as the version who is being rebuilt. This is the feminine rising from the ashes of her own awakening. You walk through the pain not by force, but by surrender, not by pushing yourself, but by trusting yourself. And with every step, you step closer to the truth. You are becoming the woman your soul always knew you were. There is a moment in every divine feminine's journey when she finally realizes that the pain she is feeling is not a sign of loss. It is a sign of birth. This awakening, as heavy as it feels, is not the end of your connection. It is the moment the true path to union begins. Spiritually, the feminine is always the one who rises first. She is the intuitive one, the emotional one, the one who feels the shifts before they manifest. But rising first does not mean carrying the entire bond alone. It means becoming the light that exposes the truth, both within herself and within the masculine. And that is exactly what this awakening is doing. Your pain is stripping away every illusion that kept you stuck. It is removing the version of love that depended on your suffering. It is ending the cycle where you were the healer, the chaser, the emotional anchor, the one who held the connection in place while he resisted his own awakening. Those roles do not belong to you anymore. The universe has taken them from your hands so you can finally rise into the feminine you were meant to embody. And when you rise, something shifts on his side as well. The masculine does not awaken through pressure. He awakens through contrast. when he feels the old dynamic collapse, when he feels the emotional safety he once relied on slip away, he is forced to confront what he has been avoiding. Your awakening becomes the mirror he can no longer turn away from. It shows him everything he ran from, everything he suppressed, everything he refused to feel. This shift is not designed to separate you. It is designed to realign you. When the feminine breaks open, the masculine breaks open too. But in his own way, he becomes aware of the void, the distance, the inner ache he used to numb. He begins to understand that you were not holding him back. You were holding space for him. And now that space feels empty. He must step into it. He must rise. He must meet you in a place he has never allowed himself to reach before. This is how union begins. Not through effort, not through chasing, not through emotional sacrifice, but through activation. Your awakening activates the truth in him. Your clarity activates his self-awareness. Your release activates his longing. Your transformation activates his evolution. This painful phase is not a detour. It is the gateway. You are shedding the version of yourself that the old timeline depended on. You are stepping into a vibration that cannot coexist with imbalance, abandonment, or emotional instability. You are becoming the feminine who no longer bends herself to fit his fear, but stands tall enough for him to rise into his destiny. Union does not happen when both counterparts are comfortable. Union happens when both counterparts are awakened. And you, divine feminine, are awakening now. You are realizing that love does not require you to break. You are realizing that connection does not require you to shrink. You are realizing that you do not need to earn what is already yours by soul contract. You are realizing that the version of you emerging from this awakening is the version who attracts union, not by force, but by frequency. The pain is temporary. The transformation is permanent. Soon you will begin to feel something new inside you. A deeper peace, a stronger intuition, a sense of grounding that wasn't there before, a certainty that no longer depends on signs or outcomes. This is the feminine healed. This is the feminine aligned. This is the feminine ready. And once she reaches this state, the masculine has no choice but to meet her there, because the soul connection becomes too strong, too clear, too undeniable for him to keep resisting. Is not something you chase. It is something you become aligned with. And as you move through this awakening, you are aligning more and more with the version of yourself who is destined to experience it. The old timeline is collapsing. The new one is forming in real time. And even if you cannot see it yet, everything is already shifting beneath the surface. This awakening is not the end of the story. This awakening is the beginning of the real one. You are rising, he is awakening, the path is clearing, and union is moving closer. Not because you waited, but because you transformed.